All right. Welcome back to another Wright Stew podcast. I am Paul Stewart.
And I am Brian Wright, still here in North Carolina.
Heck yeah, man. North Carolina. Greatest state in the union, North Carolina. Here we go, baby. So Brian and I were talking a lot of Super Bowl talk over the past few days. We've gotten a little baseball as well. Something neither of us talk about a ton is golf. And so this past weekend was the Waste Management Golf Tournament. So Scottsdale, Arizona. And I saw the guy make the hole-in-one at the tournament, and the people went bananas. They were throwing water. They were just losing their minds. So known for the rowdiness on the 16th hole. It's treated like a football game, a basketball game. People are screaming and hooting and hollering. And I think, and I don't follow golf. I don't really like golf that much, to be fair. But I enjoy that one hole of that one tournament. I appreciate the Masters. I appreciate it. I'll watch a little bit of the Masters. I'll watch some of the majors, but I'm not a golf guy.
Neither one of us. Let's just be honest. Neither one of us are players. You had family really early. Part of the reason I quit playing baseball was back injuries and other injuries. And so that game is not conducive to two things: a young family and back injuries. And so I just never picked it up. I tried to play it a couple of times when I first got done, and I was like, I just don't care enough to try to get good at this. And I respect people that do, but I'm just not one of those guys.
I don't.
I appreciate the skill.
Well, everybody's like, you're a starting pitcher. You should be great at golf. I'm like,
yes, I thought so too.
I would have rather have spent time with my wife or kids or whatever it was, and just never. And I know people enjoy it; they love it. I've probably played 5, maybe 6 full rounds in my life.
Okay, so I'm ahead of you there. I probably played 10 or 15.
Don't own a set of clubs. Yeah, don't care. Yeah, no real desire to pick it up this late in life. And it's one of those sports you can play forever and that sort of thing. But
that's what they say. Trump plays it. A lot of guys play it well into their 70s and 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad played. I remember when I was probably 13, 14-ish, I got PGA Tour on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, yeah. Now, I feel like it's good on video games.
And I kind of enjoyed it. It was kind of fun. I got kind of good at it. And then we went to Florida to visit my grandparents, and my dad was like, "Hey, well, let's go golfing." A little father son. And my brother went with us, and we were in Titusville, so we were probably some little local muni course, and probably lost like 20 balls. We both fell in love, my brother and I, just with trying to hit the ball as far as we could. No matter if it was a par 5 or a par 3, we were bringing out the big dog and just letting it eat.
Were you doing the Happy Gilmore?
No.
Walking through it?
Happy had not come out yet.
Oh, dude, I think Happy Gilmore is like 93, 94, right? What year is
maybe
Happy
it was
Gilmore?
No, I don't. It hadn't come out yet. It was about to come out. It wasn't in the zeitgeist yet. But I did see Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out later this year. Man, really excited for that.
Peter McGavin, he's a good follow on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it now.
Little Red Lobster. Yeah, man, just an amazing movie. I showed it to my kids within the past couple of years, and I didn't realize how many things that they say in that movie that I use in everyday life.
Oh, for sure.
All of the lines and all of the things that they say is just. But that was one of those movies I've probably seen 50 plus times. Maybe I've definitely seen Happy Gilmore more than I've golfed.
Oh yeah, well I would say that was one of the movies that was on in our locker room at NC State, and I bet I've seen it at least 50 times, if not 100.
Yeah.
And like you said,
on buses, just one of those movies you can watch.
There was a large portion of my life, Paul, where I'm pretty sure all we did was quote movies. Like, Wyatt Earp was one. I'm your Huckleberry. Dude, there were so many.
That's of those Tombstone. Kind of that wasn't even Wyatt Earp. That was Tombstone.
Yeah, but Wyatt Earp was the guy.
Yeah, Wyatt Earp was the character. Yeah.
After that was Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday. Yeah, that was it's a big for in the 90s at least. I was a big Friday guy. A lot of quotes.
From Friday. It's grown on me. but I
I
don't
would
know.
show it to my kids now. Yeah, Dumb and Dumber, Ace
Yeah,
Ventura. A
we
lot
got
of
parents with their
Billy
heads falling
Madison.
off. Yeah, you remember like, hey Petey, hey Petey,
Yeah,
you know.
there's so many great lines in that, and just and
Samsonite.
I don't know
Yeah,
what those
it's
movies are
hilarious.
now though for the younger generation. I don't know if they have those.
Well, I feel like, the comedy game, you had old school, you had Wedding
Yeah,
Crashers kind of after that. The
Road Trip.
comedy,
Remember Road Trip? That was a great one.
that was a good one. Yeah, that was a really good one. And
All
that was kind of out
The
of,
American Pies.
yes, dude. I feel like there's really been a vast window of like that 15 to like 25-year-old that just were some classic movies. And that
Yeah.
has not been filled in a long time.
No, I think
Comedies.
The Hangover was probably the last of kind of that not quite politically correct, kind of say what you want.
I think it comes back, maybe. Maybe it comes back.
I don't know. It's definitely something that was a huge part of our growing up, and then things got very PC, and you couldn't make a joke without offending
Somebody.
everybody and or
Yeah.
somebody. And if you got somebody upset, then everybody's upset. And but man, a lot of so with that, it got us thinking too about like for me, I would love to see more of that in golf. Like I don't think you need the complete silence and people, Tiger yelled at the guy for the click of the camera the one time. And I mean, you look at every other sport and it's loud and screaming and thumping and guys can still concentrate, right? With baseballs coming at them or footballs or people trying to tackle the whole thing. So you can golf with a little noise, right? It's not
I
that.
kind of, we had talked about, that, obviously golf in particular, you would like to see, that be, you saw some in Happy Gilmore. We had guys blowing horns. It's like, you guys go back to your shanties. And, and
Go back
so,
to your shanty. Oh gosh, yeah, what a great movie. But but so you know what? Maybe outside of Augusta, one hole per course is that hole. Yeah,
oh,
set up
so
your
we're doing the
grandstand.
rules. So
Yeah,
rules you could change.
yeah, so that got us to thinking like, what rules would we like to see? Whether they be, and that one's a little silly, but a little serious. But what rules would we like to see in the sports that we watch?
Right.
How would it change the game? How would it affect it? So that would be my first one, Brian. I would like to see one hole per course that you allow a little rowdiness, and clearly you're not throwing stuff on the course. Everything is safe.
Right, right. It's just vocal,
You're
verbal.
not interfering with the play of the game or the match or the swing, but you can scream in the backswing. You can bring a vuvuzela if you want. You can whatever you want to do. It just looks so much fun in Scottsdale when the guy made the whole. They're throwing the water bottle. They're going crazy.
Dude, and people are becoming alcoholics and maybe getting alcohol poison all in the same breath there. It's a strong event for sure. And it kind of kicks off the season. And I know, as a young guy, you got to think, dude, that's got to be an awesome environment to go play because there's no other place like it. They have really made that place unique to the point to where, people want to go play that for that environment. Right.
Yeah.
It is awesome. Yeah, I agree. If you could have one hole, I even say it's so proper. You think about the Masters down in Augusta, Georgia. I don't know.
I would say without that one would have like do whatever you want, Masters. Don't change that. That's the one I would not change. The rest of them, again, I'm a traditionalist in the baseball perspective. The rest of the sports, I don't care. Change. Do.
See, baseball, I think, is being hurt broadly by not adapting. So let's go to baseball. Let's go. Is there anything in the great game that you would say, I would like to see this changed?
So the one is have the automated strike zone. Fully adopt the automated strike zone. I know they've done it in some different levels of the minor leagues.
Yeah.
But go ahead and fully adopt. And essentially how it works is you still have an umpire behind the catcher. They're more of a game. There's more of a game manager, right? They're calling foul tips potentially. They're calling out and safe at the plate. Check swings is still in their purvey. But balls and strikes, you have
the pitch clock. Hey, the pitch clock that you love.
They're still monitoring the pitch clock, getting people in and out of the box, right? So they're still managing the game. But yeah, if it goes in the box, they get a little buzz that says strike or a little that says ball, whatever it is, and then they call the pitch appropriately. So they do it in tennis, right? They have those lines. They can challenge the call. And I mean, there is some kind of art to it and some gamesmanship to the umpire. But as we've seen over time, umpires have gotten really good. Realistically, I mean, they call a high.
Even the bad ones are 80%, right? Low 80s.
Well, they're even the bad, like legitimately, the bad ones are like 85%. I mean, or 90%. They're still pretty high, right? And
I remember the guy. There's been some guys that have definitely been low 80s, but there's been guys that have been perfect too, right? The guy who got popped for gambling, right? He got suspended the whole year. He had a perfect game, which is unheard of.
Yeah, so I would like to see the automated strikes because again, as a pitcher, I think you're probably getting a little more of that high strike call that you don't really want to throw all the time, but you're probably getting that called for you, and then you're getting true corners and again, you can't argue with a robot. I mean, what do you do?
No. You're probably you're getting a high strike again, and the corners. I think it probably gets more narrow, but it also gets taller too, right?
Yeah.
And so I think there's some, especially with some of these modern day swings, if you can extend that strike zone up, some of these swings where they're collapsing on that backside real early are going to really struggle with height and velocity for sure.
Yeah. And again, they have it on all the ESPN and Fox. They all have the box on there, and it's pretty cool to see. But at the same time, I watch a lot of old games, and there's no box up there.
Hey, Paul, do you remember? Hey, do you remember when they used to have the view? That for a few years, it feels like they did a view directly behind the pitcher's mound.
Oh, home plate, yeah, because it's off center now. It was kind of funky. Yeah.
Did you like? I was going to ask you if you liked it or not.
It was fine. I mean, it was different, but it looked weird. The ball looked a little different the way it traveled. You didn't have that depth, I think, that you do when it's slightly angled a little bit. But it's fine either way. But I like the setup now, and so that do you have a baseball the golden at bat? Is that where you go with that, Brian?
Well, I do like that one. I do like I still think to bring in masses. I like the golden batter. You're going to hate this, but like if we go to extra innings, regular season only, let's go home run derby. 5 pitches, best guy.
5 pitches, but
who's throwing it? Maybe not. Hey, let's not go there. You can let your best hitter. Maybe he hits twice. I'm really to the point of. You think about how many of these other games have changed so much and baseball hasn't. I know partially that's what makes it great.
Yeah.
Let me just mark it down and erase that altogether. Let's just go golden batter. That's where I'm going first.
You can go home run derby.
No, let's go golden batter first, and then
people would love the home run derby at the end of the game. I promise you that would draw ratings.
Well, you want people to say how many games? Hey, Paul, how many games have we been to? Just me and you. And dude. People are gone by the 7th inning, dude. It's incredible, man. And
you know what that does? That allows me to go sit in their seats and get closer to the action. So I'm good with
I like your positive thinking. I want to say, like you watch some of these old games on MLB Network and different times, especially in the offseason, they'll show games. Obviously, you've seen a lot. But, dude, and I know they're showing bigger games, but, man, it just felt like the stands were full. Stadiums have a different feel when they're full and when they're empty.
Oh, yeah.
I just want people to stay there.
Well, and part of that too is, I mean, you're playing 81 home games per year. There's not as much on the line, right? You're playing weekday games. You're playing all the time. So if you miss an inning or two, people are like, I'll listen to the radio on the way home, and we'll figure it out.
What's your next one, Paulie? Did you have 2 that you wanted to?
No, that was the only real one in baseball. I know baseball's going through a lot of different kind of changes. I had one for basketball. Actually, a couple in basketball.
I've got one in basketball.
Okay, so give me yours first, Brian.
Basketball. Let's limit, and I've heard somebody else, so I'm still in this. Let's limit the number of total threes for the game to 25 per team until the team that's behind under 1 minute. or under. Let's go under 2 minutes left in the game. So you have 25, and then the losing team can shoot as many as they want if they're behind under 2 minutes.
Okay.
And maybe they have to get within a certain score.
Cannot?
Say that again.
But the winning team cannot?
The winning team cannot. No. The team that is ahead can – well, they can shoot their total of 25, and then say once they get within 5 points, maybe once they get within 5 points, they can't shoot any more threes, and you get a total of 25 per game and until you get within 5.
That's a lot of thinking, and somebody has to be understanding what's going on, I think. I guess you could note it on the scoreboard and have that up there, but
it's kind of like fouls. Maybe I feel like you kind of got to know.
That's a lot to track.
I do think they've got to do something to make it to where it's not just dunks and 3 points.
All right, so here you go. How about this? So there's not as many dunks as there used to be because there's so much value put on the 3-pointer. How about this? We make dunks worth 3 points.
Ooh.
So that brings back a little bit of the big man game. Yeah. It brings back those aggressive moves to the rack, right? So a dunk is worth 3 points. So you're saying, hey, like maybe we can. It probably kills the mid range game. Then you've got nothing.
Well, I was going to say, then you're just going to have dunks and 3-point shots.
Yeah.
And
I've seen this on the internet a little bit. How about a 4-point line? Something 6-7 feet behind the current 3-point line. Because guys are shooting it out there.
They are. I tell you, the thing, and I guess it's just our generation because we saw obviously Jordan, but even after Jordan, you saw Iverson and a lot of guys that figured out how to get to their spot or get to that mid range, and that felt different than what they do now.
So there were a bunch of guys who, in 15, 20 years, your Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, you mentioned AI, that had a legitimate 15-footer. They had kind of a short, mid, and long range game. And that the mid is what's just gone from the NBA now. But, the other thing with the NBA, couple of things I thought, free-flowing substitutions, like hockey. Most of the time, though, there's a stoppage of play. There's a deflection. The ball goes out of bounds. There's a foul. So I don't know how relevant that would be because there's enough stoppage of play. But could you imagine?
I think it would change.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to see a guy just – and you'd have to get the one guy off the court. You couldn't have 6 men on, right? But that would be a lot of fun to see somebody just flying off the bench, full steam.
Yeah, especially a defense for offensive substitution. Dude, just seeing a guy step off and step back, another guy stepping on. You could put plays in. That would fundamentally change the game. I think that's a bigger move than like even the golden batter would be. That's a bigger move probably even than, I don't know. That would definitely, it would feel like hockey, right? It kind of kind of free flowing.
It's part of the game substituting players. Right, but it's just at a stoppage. So now you're just, hey, let's speed this thing up. Let's keep it moving.
I kind of like it. You think about how much that game's changed. Now, the only thing I get so torn between like the rules of basketball, like what is traveling, what is, you see guys take 4 or 5 steps. Yeah. Like I get torn between that and just being able to see the guy's athleticism, which I enjoy. Yeah. And so I do get torn there. But I do think that would be an awesome change.
Yeah, so there's a few. The other thing, too, and I noticed this, I mentioned I went to a Hornets-Lakers game a few years back, just how small the court is for those guys.
So you want to make it bigger altogether?
Just, make it wider. Give them a little more room. And maybe then you push the 3-point line back a little bit. There's just so little room on that court because those guys are so big and long, and you gain a real appreciation for some of those passes they're making because of how tight those quarters are. So
that kind of leads right in. Yeah. That leads right into my next. I went WNBA.
Oh, WNBA, okay.
And I went WNBA. Let's lower the goals to 9 foot.
Oh, maybe get
and let them just rock. You're going to have a lot of girls that can dunk. The girls that can dunk now are still going to obviously be able to dunk at 9 foot. Yeah. But it's not going to look so like barely getting up there. They're going to be able to do some stuff.
Like a tomahawk jam or something fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I went with that, and I guess you would keep maybe some of the same rules that you went for the NBA as far as free flowing on off and that kind of stuff. But I would like for now that we're able to acknowledge that girls and guys are different, I would like for that game to be a little bit different from the standpoint of, hey, most girls, and I'm not saying most of those girls can obviously are better athletes than me at this point in my life, but it would be awesome if you could see a girl take a step and really throw it down and not just
yam on
get
somebody.
it down. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. That'd be a lot of fun. And that was so there's a place locally in Raleigh called Grand Slam. They have batting cages and then they have basketball courts. And I remember in high school we used to go there and you could rent the court for like $50 for an hour, so we'd all throw in $5 and play. But the fun behind it was you could lower the goals. And they were sturdy enough where you could dunk and do all that stuff. So I could dunk a 10-foot goal pretty easily. And so we were lowered to like 9. So
everybody could. Yeah.
Yeah. So and you realize it's not that easy to dunk in an actual game. Like it takes some skill. You've got to see the path. You've got to create some space for yourself, and then you just kind of got to be aggressive and go for it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, hey, I saw your highlights. You were getting
yeah. But when you get to that 9-foot goal, then you can get some real blocks too, really challenge some people, and it's that. So that was always a lot of fun to do that. And so if you live locally in Raleigh, Grand Slam is actually moving to Garner.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, good old G-Town getting Grand Slam. They're moving it all over. So,
hey, I got a question. You got any? I've got one that I've spoke of a little bit for football. Do you have any for football that you come instantly to mind?
I've got a couple for NFL. So the first one, adopt the college methodology for overtime.
That was one of mine.
Yeah, go give everybody kind of a fair shot back and forth. I mean, we watched that Georgia Tech game, the 8 overtime. Yeah. I mean, it didn't get any better than that. That was great.
It really doesn't take anything out of it except the kickoff.
Yeah.
And so, that's not even hardly a play anymore.
And so speaking of kickoff, that was my second one for football. Get rid of kicking altogether. No kicking at all.
No field goals?
No field goals, no punts. No, like you can remember when you were a kid and you used to like play in the backyard and you say, hey, it's third down. Are you going for it? Like, no, we're going to put, like you had to declare your punt. So you just move the ball 50 yards. That's all it is. And
wow. So you automatically move it 50 yards.
You automatically move it 50 yards, or if that gets you to the goal, the end zone.
I liked honestly having a kid who plays now. I mean, old school. I can remember playing kickoff when I was a kid in high school, especially as a sophomore getting pulled up to varsity or whatever, and that's the only plays you're getting, and seeing stars pretty regularly. So I like the idea of getting that full-on pow collision out of the game, having a kid that plays it. But I like the original idea where you had a landing zone, and they needed to make the penalty more damaging that if you kicked it into the end zone. Like originally it was going to be to the 40 if they kicked it into the end zone. Oh, wow. And so I think that would force that play back into it. I do like punt returns. I think about Dion and some of the things he did on punt returns. Mine, I went a little bit different. I mean, I spoke on it. Getting rid of the tush push, dude. Let's get rid of that play altogether, dude. There's got to be. You cannot assist a quarterback on a quarterback sneak.
So a quarterback sneak is okay.
Quarterback sneak is okay.
Somebody push you from behind is not okay, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it has to touch. And I don't mind it like when a running back gets held up and all of a sudden he gets a lineman downfield that pushes him downfield out. So I think the person that receives the ball cannot be the one that is being pushed. I think I'm over the tush. I mean, what they do with Hurts is they got Saquon who squats 600, 700 pounds. They get another tight end on the other cheek, and then you got Hurts that can move some weight. Dude, they get 2 or 3 yards. We already talked about that. So I'd like to see that one done. That would be my first one. Yeah. And then I would like to be able to replay some of these personal fouls that we get. Only if they're called. You can't replay them if they're not called. But there was a couple in the Super Bowl that were called. And I think if they were replayed.
Yeah. Well, there was the first PI, and it looked like hand fighting kind of.
And not even I wasn't even going there, but
Yeah, well, you saw him extend his arm, and it's like you can see where the official saw it from that angle when you get that arm. But that second one that they called on the Chiefs, I think that's the one you're referring to,
Yes,
where
yes.
it looked like he just jumped for the ball, and
He
naturally
jumped up for
there's
the
going to
ball.
be
He really
some,
used his hands. He barely brushed his face mask.
yeah,
That was not. That's yeah. So only you see a lot on quarterbacks, and it's like, well, quarterback. I don't know. I would kind of like not to protect the quarterback as much too. I feel like the helmet. I kind of like to treat them like a football player again. Maybe you keep them off their knees, but dude, if you're doing this, you're coming in with two hands up. How are you not supposed to hit the helmet when you try to tackle them,
yeah,
right?
I don't understand a lot of that. There's been some games and that have legitimately been changed because guys have been thrown out of the game. I mean,
Yeah.
is it forcible contact? There was a couple, watching the Panthers this year. It was the Panthers Chiefs game, and somebody just got the Chiefs players just got blown up. Like guy just squared him up, threw a flag. It was like forcible contact or unnecessary roughness. I'm like, dude, just hit him. Like hit him with his
Yeah, it's
shoulder
kind
in
of
the
it's just a
chest. I'm like,
football play. And
yeah,
again, I'm all for protecting to an extent, but they went too far
yeah.
with quarterbacks. I kind of think quarterbacks shouldn't be able to slide feet first at all. Let's get rid of that altogether. So you cannot slide. That is no longer a protective measure. You either get out of bounds or get down, right? And if you get down, you get down early enough, right? It's still just like a normal football player. But quarterbacks don't have the ability to slide anymore. So I had those three as my
So they're
NFL.
dropping a shoulder and hitting somebody like a
They either
running back.
drop a shoulder, get rid of the ball, or they can dive and kind of protect themselves, but they can't go feet first. That's a 15-yard penalty on the quarterback if they go feet first.
Wow, that would be a drastic change. And we talked about that with Mahomes specific because he grew up playing baseball, and
And he can drop just like, yeah.
yeah, his dad played the big leagues, right? So he was playing baseball for probably before he played football, and homeboy can slide and he can get down quick, and
Yeah.
I think that's part of why it's so tough to officiate him because he does do it really quick, and then you've got the defenders flying at him, and as a ref, you're kind of forced into a tough spot, but you're going to get more scrutiny if you don't call the penalty on the star player sort of thing. So are there any other ones, Brian, that you want to see in any sport?
So I was talking to my daughter about this.
Wait, the
And
dance daughter or lacrosse daughter?
lacrosse daughter, but she
Okay.
likes fast moving sports, right? So talking to lacrosse daughter, and she wants like person that's running the first base. She wants somebody from the opposing team to try to come out and try to tackle them. That was part of her. So you have that was hers, right? And so I don't
That's
think we're to that point, but
no.
I do think we're at a point to where this different audience, you got to do something to golden helmet. I'm just going back to golden helmet. It's really all I want. I want to see Otani hit twice in the bottom of the ninth.
Here's the one we talked about too, jokingly. And so actually, I was talking. So Theo Epstein was the assistant GM with the Red Sox when I was in AAA with the Sox, and when the big club was on the road, he would come to Pawtucket every once in a while. So I was sitting with him in the stands one day, and he's like, Stu, you watch soccer? I'm like,
Yeah.
Not really, but
I thought you would be kind of a soccer guy.
no. But he's like, well, you know the wall that they build? I was like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, I mean, I get that. He's like, what if we took our infield and built a wall between home plate and the pitcher's mound, and then when we threw a pitch, they kind of parted or ducked, and then the ball came flying in, and the hitters got no
Oh,
chance.
like behind. Oh gosh, that's
Yeah,
not illegal.
no. So I started talking to my son about it. I was like, it's like, hey, what if? Because he plays a little third base, right? I was like, what if we take you and we just put you right in front of the batter's box? Because you can put a player anywhere on the field. What if we just put you in front of the batter's box and we just have you jumping up and down like you're trying to block an inbound pass? And he's a little taller, so especially for short kids, they can't see the ball. It's not against the
Wow.
rules. I mean,
There real quick, there would be rules put in place for something, right? But I don't disagree with you. Right now, it would be within the rules of the game.
it's clearly not safe. But I've seen those softball girls, like third baseman. I mean, when they know like a slapper's coming up or somebody's going to bunt,
Oh, dude, they're in there tight. Dude, that's why they wear masks fielding the ball because they are in there tight.
Yeah. So hey, maybe if you come out and watch Brian and I's 13U travel team this year, maybe you'll see some crazy defensive alignments. Yeah. The
Paul is
ultra
way
shift.
too traditional. There's no shot. There's no shot.
I would you know what though? Some of those knucklehead coaches out there, I could see them doing something like that.
Oh yeah.
And I don't what all right, so what would you do as a hitter if you're standing in the left-handed batter's box and they bring the third baseman and say it's a big guy like me, 6'6", 230 in my playing days, and I'm just standing in front of you. You got a pitcher on the mound, and I'm just standing in front of you, waving my arms like a maniac. What do you do?
I think the first take I would be in shock, and then the second take I'm probably like poking at you with my bat. As if it's within reach, I'm probably swiping at you. If nobody's doing anything about it or saying, "Hey, this was in the rules," I'm going to be trying to make you fear for your life as I'm getting ready to try to hit.
So you're taking a hack on pitch two no matter what?
Well, just like even before while the pitcher's in his windup, dude, I'm like sticking my hand out there trying to like
Just poke
watch.
it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like a sword or something. Yeah. Dude, that would be crazy though if you think about it.
I kind of want to see it now. Who's somebody on our team that would do that? We'll talk about that offline, Brian. We'll find somebody on our team that's willing. We've got a couple kind of kids with screws loose with we'll let them give it a shot. We'll talk to their parents first, though. We'll make sure that happens. So,
oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so those are some of the rule changes that Brian and I would like to see. A comment on our YouTube page. Also, we've got a Facebook now. We've got a Facebook page, Wright Stewart Podcast. Go on there, look for us, follow us. We're posting content on there, but let us know what rule changes you want to see in what sport, and we'll share some of those on the air if you send us some good ones. But would love to see what you guys are thinking out there. That would be a lot of fun. Any other big happenings in the world, Brian, that we need to know about?
Not yet. Not yet. Baseball season is getting closer every day.
Getting closer. We're getting there, buddy. So got NBA All-Star Weekend coming up soon. NASCAR's kicking off soon. Got Valentine's Day at the end of the week. So there are some things out there, and we'll catch up on those here shortly. But otherwise, we appreciate you all listening today. Have a great day.
Out. Go Pack.